Hey there, 8th graders. Welcome to today's Explainer. Think of our time together right now as a coach's playbook session. You're already in the game, you're already reading, but today we're going to look at the strategy behind the scenes to help you completely level up your reading game. We're focusing on the Godly Learner's Guide to Mindful Reading Habits. If you want to read smarter, remember more, and actually, scratch that. If you want to enjoy the process, you're in the exact right place. So, let's get our heads in the game.
Okay, let's dive into this because I just know you've experienced this exact frustration. Picture it. You're staring at a book, your eyes are moving across the words, you finally get to the bottom of the page, and suddenly you realize, wait, your brain was entirely somewhere else. You were on complete autopilot and you have zero idea what you just read. It's incredibly frustrating, right? You literally just wasted your time and energy. Well, that is the exact problem we're solving in our explainer today. We are going to stop reading on autopilot and start reading with absolute purpose.
So that brings us right into Section 1, the power of looking back. To truly level up, we've got to grasp the big idea that looking backward on how and what you read is actually your secret weapon to moving forward. To really ground this idea, let's look at this incredible scripture from Lamentations 3:40. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. This shows us that taking a step back to examine our habits isn't just some schoolwork strategy. It is a deeply spiritual tool for growth. When we test our ways, we're making a conscious, deliberate choice to improve ourselves and align our actions with a much higher purpose.
Now, this practice of testing our ways has a specific name in our playbook: reflection. Reflection is simply the practice of evaluating what's working and what's not, to align your reading life with your goals and values. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it takes reflection from being some vague, boring chore and turns it into a totally empowering action. You're in the driver's seat here. You get to figure out what works for you and ditch what doesn't.
Let's compare what this looks like in real life. On one hand, you have reading on autopilot. This is when reading is just an assignment, a box to check, something you kind of drag yourself through. But on the other hand, you have mindful reading. Because you've actually reflected on your habits, reading transforms into a truly meaningful part of your day. So the crucial point here is that reflection is the bridge that takes you from bored, autopilot, to mindful, strategic reading, where you actually get something real out of the text.
Moving right along, here is Section 2, Finding Your Reading Strengths. Okay, we're moving into the active phase of our playbook now. This is where you become the scout of your own team. You need to scout your own stats to figure out what you already do well. Here's the core process of reflection, broken down into 3 totally actionable steps. Step 1, ask yourself questions about your habits. When do you read best? Are you a morning person or a total night owl? What genres do you enjoy the most? Which books have challenged you the most? Step 2, be totally honest about your obstacles. We all have them. Maybe you get distracted easily, or maybe you skip reading entirely when you're tired. Think about ways to overcome these, like setting a regular, scheduled reading time or making a designated quiet space in your room. And step 3, celebrate your successes. Did you finish a book faster than you expected? Did you finally understand a really complex theme? You've got to recognize those wins.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds, overcoming your reading obstacles.
Identifying your distractions is really the first step to fixing the leaks in your game. Once you know what's tripping you up, you can build a strategy to leap right over it. Let's review the game tape. If you observe that you read much faster when the book is historical fiction, lean into it. Read more in this genre while still exploring others. Or, maybe you notice you often skip reading on weekends. The solution isn't to beat yourself up, it's to adapt. Plan shorter weekend reading sessions to stay consistent without feeling totally overwhelmed. And if you celebrate a win, like completing a challenging biography without giving up, that victory builds immense confidence for tackling even harder books down the line.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, Celebrating Your Reading Wins.
I literally cannot emphasize enough why doing a victory dance for your small wins is a crucial part of this playbook. When you acknowledge that you finally grasped the tough concept or finished a dense chapter, you are wiring your brain to embrace challenges. Those little victories are the fuel that will keep you going when you face the next difficult text. So let's do a quick dynamic homework check-in right now. I want you to answer these questions in your head as we review. First, why is it important to reflect on your reading habits? Second, what's one question you can ask yourself right now to identify a reading strength? Third, how can identifying your weaknesses actually help improve your reading? Fourth, give me an example of a small reading success in your life worth celebrating. And finally, what does Lamentations 3:40 teach us about reflection? Take these seriously, guys. They are the keys to unlocking your mindful reading habit.
And finally, we hit the championship ring with Section 5, Education with True Purpose.
We've talked about the mechanics of reading, the habits, the reflections, but why are we doing this? We need to tie everything together by looking at the ultimate purpose of our reading and learning. Take a look at this promise from Romans 8:6-7, which assures peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate life hack. True peace of mind doesn't come just from being incredibly book smart. It comes from maintaining a spiritual mind. As you read, as you learn, and as you reflect, keeping your mind spiritually focused is what guarantees that incredible, lasting peace.
This brings us right to the HeroesMart Academy philosophy. Education without morality will hurt. We intertwine biblical morality with education because, frankly, what is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if you just continue to make bad choices that hurt yourself and the people around you, right? If you have all the reading comprehension in the world but zero moral compass, that education is empty. But when you combine your sharp, mindful reading habits with strong spiritual morality, you become an absolute, unstoppable force for good. So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative challenge. How will you apply this spiritual mindfulness to your next reading session? You have the playbook. You know exactly how to test your ways, spot your strengths, fix your weaknesses, and align your education with true moral purpose. The next time you open a book, don't just go on autopilot. Take control. Start reading with intention, purpose, and a spiritual mind. Because if you do, who knows what kind of impact you'll make? Until next time, keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep growing.